Hello and welcome to Quiz Class. I'm your host, Ellen, and today we have 100 questions for you. Here we have our Quiz Class awards and today's lineup. And we are beginning with cultural icons. Which actress was known as the Love Goddess and starred in Gilda? Ava Gardner, Lana Turner, or Rita Hayworth? Rita Hayworth. What famous jazz musician was known for his trumpet playing and gravely voice? Miles Davis, Louis Armstrong, or Duke Ellington? Louis Armstrong. Who was the first African American woman to win an Academy Award for Best Actress? Halle Berry, Lena Horne, or Hattie McDaniel? Hattie McDaniel. What rock and roll star was known as the King and had hits like Hound Dog? Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, or Elvis Presley? Elvis Presley. Who was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean? Amelia Earhart, Bessie Coleman, or Jacqueline Cochran? Amelia Earhart. What comedian starred in films like Modern Times and The Great Dictator? Buster Keaton, Harold Lloyd, or Charlie Chaplin? Charlie Chaplin. Who starred opposite Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca? Lauren Bacall, Joan Crawford, or Ingrid Bergman? Ingrid Bergman. Which filmmaker created classic like Schindler's List and E.T.? Quentin Tarantino, James Cameron, or Steven Spielberg? Steven Spielberg. What rock band released songs like Stairway to Heaven? The Who, Queen, or Led Zeppelin? Led Zeppelin. Who wrote the controversial novel Lolita? Vladimir Nabokov, William Faulkner, or J.D. Salinger? Vladimir Nabokov. What actress won an Oscar for her role in the film adaptation of Tennessee Williams's play A Streetcar Named Desire? Grace Kelly, Elizabeth Taylor, or Vivien Leigh? Vivien Leigh. Which musician was part of the duo Simon and Garfunkel? Bob Dylan, James Taylor, or Paul Simon? Paul Simon. What writer penned dystopian novels including 1984 and Animal Farm? Ray Bradbury, Kurt Vonnegut, or George Orwell? George Orwell. Which Motown group featured Diana Ross as lead singer? The Four Tops, The Temptations, or The Supremes? The Supremes. Who was known as the Queen of Soul with hits like Respect, Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin, or Diana Ross? Aretha Franklin. Which comedian hosted The Tonight Show for 3 decades? Johnny Carson, David Letterman, or Jay Leno? Johnny Carson. Who played the lead role in The Graduate and Midnight Cowboy? Robert Redford, Warren Beatty, or Dustin Hoffman? Dustin Hoffman. Which band's album Pet Sounds revolutionized pop music production? The Beatles, the Kinks, or the Beach Boys? The Beach Boys. Who was known as the Godfather of Soul? James Brown, Otis Redding, or Ray Charles? James Brown. Who played the lead role in A Streetcar Named Desire on both stage and screen? Gregory Peck, Kirk Douglas, or Marlon Brando? Marlon Brando. Let's move over to historical milestones for question 21. Which international organization was formed to promote European economic integration? The United Nations, World Trade Organization, or the European Economic Community? The European Economic Community. Which political philosophy did Mao Zedong implement in China? Democracy, communism, or fascism? Communism. What was the purpose of the Warsaw Pact? Cultural exchange, economic cooperation, or military alliance? Military alliance. Which conflict is often referred to as America's forgotten war? The Vietnam War, the Gulf War, or the Korean War? The Korean War. What was the main objective of the Great Leap Forward in China? Cultural revolution, population control, or rapid industrialization? Rapid industrialization. Which event marked the end of the French Fourth Republic? The Suez Crisis, Vichy regime collapse, or the Algerian War? The Algerian War. What was the primary focus of the Second Vatican Council? Church modernization, communist condemnation, or papal infallibility? Church modernization. Which conflict led to the creation of Bangladesh? Kashmir dispute, East Pakistan secession, or the Sino-Indian War? East Pakistan secession. What was the main purpose of the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks, or SALT? Trade agreement, diplomatic normalization, or nuclear arms control? Nuclear arms control. What was the significance of the Prague Spring? Communist takeover, liberalization attempt, or Soviet invasion? Liberalization attempt. Which crisis led to the nationalization of the Suez Canal? The Six-Day War, the Lebanese Civil War, or the Suez Crisis? The Suez Crisis. What was the primary focus of the War on Poverty? Social welfare expansion, tax reduction, or foreign aid increase? Social welfare expansion. Which crisis led to the fall of the Shah in Iran? The Iran-Iraq War, oil nationalization, or the Islamic Revolution? The Islamic Revolution. Which conflict resulted in the division of Cyprus? Turkish invasion, Greek Civil War, or the Balkan Wars? Turkish invasion. Which agreement led to the withdrawal of U.S. forces from Vietnam? The Paris Peace Accords, the Geneva Accords, or the Seattle Treaty? The Paris Peace Accords. What was the main purpose of the Nuremberg trials? Holocaust documentation, war criminals prosecution, or German reparations? War criminals prosecution. What was the primary goal of the Solidarity movement in Poland? Communist takeover, Soviet alliance, or workers' rights protection? Workers' rights protection. What was the main objective of the Green Revolution? Environmental protection, land reform, or agricultural productivity increase? Agricultural productivity increase. What was the primary focus of the Helsinki Accords? Economic integration, military alliance, or human rights recognition? Human rights recognition. Which event marked the end of the Cultural Revolution in China? Mao Zedong's death, the Great Leap Forward, or Deng Xiaoping's reforms? Mao Zedong's death. Entertainment for question 41. Which variety show introduced the concept of a talk show format? The Milton Berle Show, The Ed Sullivan Show, or The Tonight Show? The Tonight Show. What was the first television series to feature an African American lead actress? Good Times, The Jeffersons, or Julia? Julia. Which animated character made its debut in Steamboat Willie? Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, or Bugs Bunny? Mickey Mouse. What groundbreaking sitcom featured a single working woman as the protagonist? The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Happy Days, or All in the Family? The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Which film is known for its iconic line, "Here's looking at you, kid"? Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind, or Casablanca? Casablanca. What was the first color television broadcast in the U.S.? I Love Lucy, The Ed Sullivan Show, or The Tournament of Roses Parade? The Tournament of Roses Parade. Which TV show popularized the phrase "Book 'em, Dano"? Columbo, Magnum PI, or Hawaii Five-0? Hawaii Five-0. What long-running children's program introduced characters like Big Bird and Oscar? Sesame Street, The Electric Company, or Captain Kangaroo? Sesame Street. Which actor famously declared, "I'm not a crook," on television? Lyndon B. Johnson, Richard Nixon, or John F. Kennedy? Richard Nixon. What was the first feature-length animated film produced by Disney? Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Fantasia, or Pinocchio? Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Who hosted The Twilight Zone, known for its twist endings? Orson Welles, Rod Serling, or Alfred Hitchcock? Rod Serling. Which musical film featured Judy Garland singing "Over the Rainbow"? A Star is Born, Meet Me in St. Louis, or The Wizard of Oz? The Wizard of Oz. Which game show became famous for its phrase, "Come on down"? Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud, or The Price is Right? The Price is Right. What animated TV show featured characters like Fred and Barney? The Jetsons, Scooby-Doo, or The Flintstones? The Flintstones. Which variety show was known for its top 10 list segment? Late Night with David Letterman, Hee Haw, or Laugh-In? Late Night with David Letterman. Which actor starred alongside Robert Redford in the classic film Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? Warren Beatty, Jack Nicholson, or Paul Newman? Paul Newman. What animated character is known for saying, "What's up, Doc"? Donald Duck, Bugs Bunny, or Popeye? Bugs Bunny. Who hosted long-running music variety show American Bandstand? Ed Sullivan, Casey Kasem, or Dick Clark? Dick Clark. How many seasons did the original Twilight Zone run before ending in 1964? 4, 3, or 5? 5. Why did Gilligan's Island castaways remain stranded despite numerous rescue attempts throughout the series' run? Frequent storms, poor navigation skills, or Gilligan's mishaps? Gilligan's mishaps. And let's move over to sports legends for question 61. What baseball player broke Babe Ruth's all-time home run record? Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle, or Willie Mays? Hank Aaron. Which tennis player won a record 24 Grand Slam singles titles in her career? Chris Evert, Billie Jean King, or Margaret Court? Margaret Court. Which track and field athlete won 4 gold medals at the 1936 Berlin Olympics? Jesse Owens, Wilma Rudolph, or Carl Lewis? Jesse Owens. What baseball player was known as the Splendid Splinter? Stan Musial, Joe DiMaggio, or Ted Williams? Ted Williams. What boxer was known as the Brown Bomber? Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, or Sugar Ray Robinson? Joe Louis. Which female track star set multiple world records and won 3 gold medals at the 1960 Olympics? Wilma Rudolph or Jackie Joyner Kersee? Wilma Rudolph. Which swimmer won 7 gold medals at the 1972 Munich Olympics? Mark Spitz, Don Schollander, or Matt Biondi? Mark Spitz. What basketball player scored 100 points in a single NBA game? Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Wilt Chamberlain. Which baseball player was known as Mr. October for his postseason heroics? Yogi Berra, Reggie Jackson, or Babe Ruth? Reggie Jackson. What football player was nicknamed the Galloping Ghost? Bronco Nagurski, Red Grange, or Jim Thorpe? Red Grange. What baseball pitcher threw a perfect game in the 1956 World Series? Bob Gibson, Don Larson, or Sandy Koufax? Don Larson. Which basketball player led UCLA to 10 NCAA championships in 12 years? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, John Wooden, or Bill Walton? John Wooden. What soccer player was known as the Black Pearl? Johan Cruyff, Pelé, or Diego Maradona? Pelé. What baseball player was known as the Iron Horse for his consecutive game streak? Cal Ripken Jr., Joe DiMaggio, or Lou Gehrig? Lou Gehrig. What football player was known as the Golden Arm? Bart Starr, Joe Montana, or Johnny Unitas? Johnny Unitas. What football player was known as Sweetness and held the NFL rushing record? Barry Sanders, Jim Brown, or Walter Payton? Walter Payton. Which swimmer was known as Tarzan and later starred in Hollywood films? Buster Crabbe, Duke Kahanamoku, or Johnny Weissmuller? Johnny Weissmuller. What football player was known as the Minister of Defense? Dick Butkus, Lawrence Taylor, or Reggie White? Reggie White. Which boxer was known as the Manasseh Mauler? Max Schmeling, Jack Dempsey, or Joe Louis? Jack Dempsey. What football player was known as the Kansas Comet? Jim Brown, Gale Sayers, or O.J. Simpson? Gale Sayers. And let's move over to technology for question 81. What was the first general purpose electronic digital computer? The UNIVAC, the Colossus, or the ENIAC? The ENIAC. Which technology, crucial during World War II, helped develop modern microwave ovens? The transistor, radar, or cavity magnetron? Cavity magnetron. What technology enabled the first transatlantic telephone cable? Submerged repeaters, satellite relay, or fiber optics? Submerged repeaters. Which material science breakthrough enabled modern electronics? Silicon semiconductors, Kevlar, or vulcanized rubber? Silicon semiconductors. What technology enabled the first mobile phone networks? Satellite communications, radio broadcasting, or cellular technology? Cellular technology. What technology revolutionized music recording in the 1940s and 1950s? Magnetic tape, digital audio, or vinyl records? Magnetic tape. What was the primary purpose of the SAGE system developed in the 1950s? Space exploration, nuclear research, or air defense? Air defense. Which technology enabled the creation of the first credit cards? Microchips, imprinting machines, or magnetic strips? Imprinting machines. Which early programming language was designed for scientific calculations? COBOL, Fortran, or BASIC? Fortran. What technology made possible the first electronic digital watches? Mechanical gears, atomic clocks, or quartz crystals? Quartz crystals. And let's move over to fashion for our last category. Which designer is credited with popularizing the new look post-World War II? Givenchy or Christian Dior? Christian Dior. What was the defining feature of 1950s men's suits? Wide lapels or narrow ties? Narrow ties. What type of skirt became a symbol of rebellion in the 1950s? The poodle skirt or the pencil skirt? The poodle skirt. What was the popular accessory for women in the 1940s, often used to cover hair? A headscarf or a fedora? A headscarf. Which designer popularized the sack dress in the 1950s? Balenciaga or Schiaparelli? Balenciaga. Which hairstyle was iconic for men in the 1950s, often associated with rock and roll? The pompadour or the crew cut? The pompadour. What type of skirt was popularized by Mary Quant in the 1960s? The mini skirt or the A-line skirt? The mini skirt. Which accessory became a symbol of the hippie movement in the late 1960s? Tie clip or love beads? Love beads. What type of fabric pattern was popular in men's shirts during the 1970s? Polka dots or paisley? Paisley. And for question 100, what type of eyewear became iconic in the 1950s, often associated with movie stars? Round frames or cat eye glasses? Cat eye glasses. And our bonus question, which accessory became a staple of the preppy look in the 1980s? Let us know the answer in the comments, along with your ranking with our quiz class Einstein rewards. We'd love to hear how you ranked. And as always, thanks for playing this quiz. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.